welcome to another episode of Talk to She. Here with Falc. I'm Barney. What's up, Falc? How are you? We're back with the beers. Today we're gonna talk about credit cards, and we're gonna teach you how to go to Monte Carlo, which is the name of the beer, only using reward points. So, how's everything, man?
I'm good. We haven't had a beer in a minute because we usually film early, but today we're filming a little later. So perfect opportunity. Also, as we're getting back to the personal finance topic.
Personal finance, our favorite topic, probably.
Our favorite topic, actually. So credit cards. So let's start with the basics.
What's a credit card, Falc?
What is life? No.
So it's basically a line of credit, a personal line of credit, and you have a limit normally, which is based on your credit score, which we'll talk about later, and many other things such as your salary and how much you pay for rent. And it's basically like a loan. It's like a loan that you have up to a point.
Exactly. And
then you should pay it off after every month, unless it's a charge card. A charge card, I don't know if you knew what it was. It's so the Amex Platinum and the Gold, they don't have a limit per se.
Oh, wow.
So you could technically buy a Lamborghini with them, but you have to pay it off after every month, or you get charged insane fees and an insane rate.
Oh,
so
wow.
it's a charge card is a card that you have to pay every month.
Yeah.
And then a credit card is a card that you get a limit, let's say $2,000, and then you can't go above that, and you get charged an interest rate on that limit.
Yeah. And when you go and you swipe the credit card, by the way, that I wanted to mention, when you swipe the credit card, like I said, the credit card company, let's say American Express, Amex, they pay the bank, they pay whatever you're paying, and they charge that person an interest.
Yeah.
So a lot of times when you go into somewhere and they say we don't accept Amex or we don't accept a certain credit card, is because when they get paid with credit, they're charged a fee, which they don't like. And the reason why they incur that fee is because since you allow people to pay with credit, more people come to your business.
It's more convenient for people to go.
It's more convenient. That's why when you go to Costco, for example, you cannot pay with credit card because since they're cutting down margins so much.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, to be able to provide such like cheap prices, like one of the expenses that they cannot incur is credit card payment. It's like credit card expenses.
So I think we can agree that the main difference between a debit card and a credit card is that with a debit card, you need to have the cash in the bank to pay for something.
Exactly.
And with a credit card, you could have $0 in your checkings account, but you can still pay for something using credit from the bank.
Exactly. And that brings to the question that I asked myself 4 years ago when I understood what credit cards were, because my father taught me, which he was here last week, by the way.
He was here. Go check that episode.
And it is, so if you have the money in the bank, because you have your money, why would you use a credit card? And the answer for that is...
So I think there's a few answers. I think the main one, the one my dad told me, is to build credit. Yeah. There's something called your credit score. There's many companies that calculate your credit score based on different things that we can talk about later. Mm-hmm. And that credit score is what loan banks and car dealerships use to give you a loan.
It's your GPA for how good you are for paying back things.
Perfect. It's your GPA for how responsible you are and how risky you are. Mm-hmm. So if you go, one of the biggest things is buying a house. We all want to buy a house eventually. And first of all, your credit score goes from 300 to 850, I think. Or 350 to 850.
Okay.
850. And so the difference between having a 600 credit score and an 850 credit score is more than $20,000 throughout the payment of your house, a mortgage.
Because when they sit down and they calculate how much your mortgage payment is, how much your interest rate is going to be, they look at a lot of things, how much money you're making, if you have any outstanding debt, if you have a lease in a car, if you have any college debt. But one of the biggest things is that they look at your credit score. And also, most important thing is credit score, but one thing they also look at is your credit history.
Oh, but yeah, and that's definitely one of the reasons. And also, another reason to have a credit card is... Again, being responsible, as long as you can pay it off after every month, because that affects your credit score, right? Mm-hmm. You have to pay it off after every month, or your credit utilization rate, which is one of the things that is important, calculating your credit score, goes up, which is not good, and your credit score goes down.
Yeah, because different than a lot of things, your credit score is actually determined by a few factors, which you can learn about. We'll probably do an episode after, breaking it down, what goes into your credit score. But the biggest ones are your utilization. So that basically means how much credit you're allowed to use every single month and how much you use. So if you have $2,000 that you can build up every single month. I'll use a personal example. I'll get to the explanation of this in a second, but my personal credit a month is $700, which is not a lot. So every month I try to not use more than like $300 in my credit. That way, my utilization is below 50%.
Right.
Which is what people aim for. And the other big factor that goes into your credit score, I don't know if it's more or less than your utilization, is if you actually, how much money you pay into your balance every single month. How much percentage you pay into your balance every single month. Are you paying your credit card balance in full?
Yeah.
Or are you just paying the minimum and then carrying the rest?
Yeah. And late payments too. There's a bunch of things.
There's a bunch of things, yeah.
But let's say you're responsible and you're paying your credit card every month, so your credit utilization is 0%, like mine, flex. It's way better to pay with a credit card because you get points and you get rewards.
The second most important thing about using a credit card is the rewards.
The rewards.
Yeah.
If you pay with a debit card, all you're gonna do is the money's gonna go out of your bank account, and that's it.
Yeah.
But since credit cards charge that convenience fee that you mentioned, they want to give some of that back to you for using the card. So there's credit cards. I think the main ones are travel rewards, cash rewards, and then there's the big rewards that give you points. The Amex, the Chase Reserved.
Yeah, it's either like cash back or rewards. So either you get a percentage of your expenses back in cash, like literally in cash.
Yeah.
Or you get any rewards, like I say, you get points that you can spend usually in leisure, like traveling, like airplane tickets, or like a hotel, or like renting cars and things like that.
Right, and one of the things that people mention a lot is that you should use your travel rewards card or your rewards card in general for travel and dining because they give you a lot of points, and your cash reward for everything else. If you want to get gas, groceries, and one of the main things in personal finance is optimizing your credit card, right? Because you don't want to fall. We have a good friend. We're not gonna mention his name so you guys don't roast him. But we have a good friend that paid off his car with his credit card.
Okay.
And he is taking advantage of an offer that you don't get charged interest in the first 12 months, I believe.
Yeah, that's usually like a marketing way that credit cards companies use, which is they say, hey, we're not gonna, the APR, which is the annual percentage rate, which is basically how much interest they charge you a year in your credit card. Side note, they're required by law to give it to you annually, so it's always gonna be APR. There's a lot of marketing tactics, but they're never gonna say 2%, but it's actually 6% because it's like something.
No, yeah. It's deceiving.
Exactly. So yeah, one of the things they do is that they give you an APR that is very low or even 0% for a fixed amount of time, maybe 6 to 12 months. And then, so our friend decided to take advantage of that, and he paid his down payment and the first few payments of his car lease with that credit card, and then
with that credit card, and obviously he wasn't getting charged a credit card, an interest rate, but his credit score went down because his utilization went up. Okay. So, but my point is that if you're getting charged an interest, having credit card, that is the worst.
Yeah.
Because no matter how responsible you are in other aspects of your personal finance life, if you're investing, if you're saving, if you only pay the minimum, you're getting charged, like you said, 16% because the rates go from 16 to 19%.
I've seen 24%.
24%, okay,
yeah,
insane.
It's crazy.
And even if you do options trading, whatever, it's not likely that you're going to get that return on the stock market. So even if you're investing, saving, doing everything right, that's a big charge that you're giving away. You're giving away 24% of your money.
Yeah. So what's the way to avoid that? Like, let's bring it back. So what is life once again?
What is life?
You're growing up.
Yeah.
You're hitting. What age should you get your credit card? I'm gonna give you my answer first. Not a set date. Not a set age. It's just as early as your dad, your brother, whoever can sit down with you and tell you this is a credit card. This is how much you have to do. And the most important thing, automatic payment.
Yeah.
So once you figure out what age that is, and I want to hear Barney after say what it is. What I will personally recommend is go to your bank, like I did this when I was leaving high school. I sat down with a representative and I was like, look, I want to build credit score and I want to build my credit history.
Yeah.
So he gave me a credit card, which is the one that I still have today, and I haven't changed because I want to change to a bigger one. When you change credit cards, by the way, that usually takes a hit into your credit score. Not that big, but it usually takes a hit. So I just want to make one big change instead of having a lot of changes. But whatever, I set up that credit card and they gave it to me. Very low credit limit. What usually is best recommended is if you have any subscriptions, Spotify, Netflix, whatever, set it up with that credit card. So like tie it to that credit card and then have an automatic payment. So every month you're being charged whatever, your Spotify and your Netflix, $25, you have it automatically paid. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Forget about the credit card, leave it in your drawer if you want, just make sure that it's being automatically paid every single month.
No, yeah, I agree with you. I think as earliest as you can, as long as you're responsible. So my dad told me, look, this is a credit card, awesome, build your credit score, but it's not a tool for you to buy stuff that you can't afford.
Yeah.
Which you can. Like at the end of the day, if you have a $5,000 limit, you can get a MacBook Pro, an iPad, a bunch of things, and you can pay them off throughout 20 years. But it's not worth it.
And you're probably gonna pay more money in interest than you're actually gonna pay into what you pay
right.
for.
It's definitely not worth it. So get it as soon as you can, because now that I'm applying for apartments in New York, one of the biggest things is that they don't require a guarantor, like someone to guarantee that you can pay the rent. If you have above a 700 score, so it's important if you want to rent something, if you want to buy a house, it's super important. Even if you want to get a good credit card, you need to have a good credit limit.
Yeah.
So I think the earliest you can get it, as long as you're responsible, you should take advantage of credit cards. I think there's a lot of people that think negatively of credit cards. But it's just a matter of being responsible with them and making them work for you and in a way to benefit you.
So what was the first credit card you had?
The first credit card I had is...
an extension with your dad's or something?
No, I created my own bank account. My dad has always used Bank of America.
Okay.
And I created my account, and my dad took out a cash rewards. I'm going to put it here. Bank of America cash rewards, the red one. That gives you 3% on a category you choose. I choose dining because I like to get beers.
Okay.
And beers count like dining. So I get 3% on all my beers every time I go out.
That's great.
And you get 1% on everything else.
Wow, that's great. That's really good.
Yeah, it's just getting cash back. Right. What was your first one?
The first one, which is one that I still have, is called Thank You Preferred. It's one I think it's like specific to Citibank, which is the bank that I use. And I have that one. So once you set up your basic credit card, then you start moving. You get into college, whatever. My thing, I would say, is don't switch into a credit card until you have a well-established job. Maybe, sort of. As long as you can pay for it.
As long as you can pay for it.
Yeah, as long as you can pay for it and if fees don't kill you, that's the best thing. I haven't changed because I maybe not being on top of it as much. But now that I have a job and everything, you change it to another one. So then you get into the second part, which is choosing the right credit card for you.
Right.
Like Barney mentioned, cash rewards versus
travel
rewards, which are basically points.
Yeah.
And choose the right one. You can go all out. Like I had a few friends. I had a friend recently, like this weekend, that he went all out and he got the platinum.
Okay.
Don't just choose a credit card because it's made out of metal and you think it's super cool that you can get to the bar and just throw it. And
especially if it's worth $700.
Exactly. Like the book that I'm reading now, I Will Teach You to Be Rich. He says a quote that is so cool and it's so important that he says, keeping up with your friends is a full-time job. Yeah. And that is so true. So choose a credit card that you like, one that maybe has the fees that you can cover, one that has the rewards that are best suited for you if you travel a lot, maybe like a travel card or something.
And we're not saying that the platinum card is a bad card.
No.
Because if you use it correctly, it's the best card. Like you can get the 700 back and much more.
Yeah.
It's just a matter that you have to sit down, like you said, and you have to run the numbers. Because if you spend a certain amount of money on travel, on dining, on groceries, then absolutely, it's an amazing card. But you have to, I would run the numbers at least, being a personal guy that loves an Excel sheet, But you have to make sure to run the numbers. But
what's the one that you're looking for? Like, do you want to transition to next?
I want to mention something before.
Okay.
Which is that, as you said, I never got a credit card with a fee before I started working.
Okay.
Because I just wanted a credit card to build credit. And what I did, I actually have 3 credit cards.
Okay.
All 3 of them have no fee. None of them have a fee. So that way I have a very high credit limit because each one has $2,000 of a credit limit. So I have $6,000 of credit. And to be honest with you, I don't think I've ever used more than $300-$400 at a time because I always like to pay it off every 15 days. But it's a way to, let's say, happens sometimes. You forget to pay a $400 balance. If you do the math, 400 divided by 6,000, it's immaterial. It's not a high percentage, and you are also showing the bank and the credit bureau. I've never been able to say that word. The bureau that even though you have $6,000 in credit, you're responsible and you're not gonna go out splashing money and So I think cards with no fees are good because you can just have them there. Put one expense every other month, and they don't charge you a fee. It's free.
Oh, and a parentheses. Let's say that because this happened it's been happening to me with my the corporate card that I have because the expensing process through the company is like a full thing. But let's say that you have a credit card and you forget to pay a bill, which will happen. What is it there to do? First thing, call your bank. Be like, hey,
Big
big thing. Well, it depends. If it's just like a $400 tab that you forgot to pay because maybe your auto payment didn't work, you didn't have it set up, call your bank and just make sure they're not gonna hit your credit score. Usually, according to Google.com, it takes 30 days of missed payments for they to actually go and hit your credit score, which usually doesn't happen. Usually, you pay before that. But call your bank, and tell them, I missed this payment. I want to make sure that it's not hitting my credit score. And also, if your bank is charging you a fee because you didn't pay your card in time, try to ask them to take that fee away. You'd be impressed. It happened to me once. I called them. I was like, look, like I messed up. Like it won't happen again.
Yeah.
Like, don't worry about it. And they refund me the money
fee
right away.
Yeah, I think we have to shout out Ramit Sethi in his book "I Was Used to Be Rich," which you're reading. He's one of the ones that I think instill that on us. That you never think about it, but banks are also customer service oriented because they want to keep your services.
Amex is huge. Like it's impressive how you call Amex and like in 2 minutes you're talking to a representative.
Right, and it's crazy how you have to know how to negotiate, and you have to say like, listen, I'm a good customer. I have a great credit score. Like I'm not risky at all for your bank. I've been a customer for 4 years. I would hate to go to another bank just because you're charging me a $30 fee.
Yeah.
And normally those customer service reps have some offers that they can give you, or even sometimes they can take away the fee on the card for that year. So, and you lose nothing. Like I called Bank of America and I just to see if I could have my credit limit increased, and they increased it, no problem. So it's just a matter of calling, and just even as practice for your future for a job when you're negotiating for a house. 100%, you mentioned it once to me when I was getting my offer for my job. Just offer and try to negotiate, because you don't lose anything. They're not gonna close your bank account. The worst thing that can happen is they tell you, no, sorry, we can't.
Yeah.
And that's it. That guy's not gonna think anything of you. Just call, negotiate. You might get your fees off. You might get a higher credit. You don't lose anything, literally.
Yeah. So bringing it back to what we're talking about, credit cards and what credit cards to get. So you have 3 credit cards. Can I mention? I think I know a few of them. Can I mention?
Try to get some.
All right. So do you still have the cashback?
The Bank of America one?
Yeah. Okay, so I have that one. Do you have the Discover?
Yeah, the Discover.
Okay, so you open the Discover, which is a popular one because they give you $200.
The Discover, all 3 of them gave you like an introductory offer that they give you $200 after you spend 1,000 something.
Which is usually a thing. Usually they tell you if you spend a certain amount of money, they'll give you a reward or maybe like miles. And then I actually know all 3. And the third one you have is the Amex, the transparent one.
The cashback, yeah.
The cashback. Okay.
So the Discovery gives you 5% on a category that changes every quarter, every 3 months. So last quarter, I think it was Walmart, Amazon, and Best Buy.
Do you recommend it for people, especially in college?
I think so, yeah. It's great because it's an easy card. There's no fee. They have a good student reward that they give you like $40 for having a 3.5 GPA. It's easy to use. They have a good app. I think that one's pretty good. It gives you 5% back. And then the Amex, I just have it because I wanted an Amex and it has no fee. It gives you, I think, 3% on groceries, 2% on gas and stuff, and things that. But that one I don't use that one that much because I rather use the Bank of America one.
And a lot of times when we go out, like we'll be having dinner us or maybe with another friend. A lot of times what happens is that big guy that has the Amex is gonna be like, let me swipe it and just Venmo me. That way you take the reward.
You take the points.
Every time like we go out to like lunch or dinner or something, or maybe like getting drinks, always like, oh, like you guys want to swipe it, and I'll just Venmo you because I know you guys are gonna collect the reward. Of course.
No, yeah, it's one of the things when you go out with your friends that might not be as personal finance savvy.
Yeah.
You take out your big cash rewards card and you end up being the guy that, wow, he paid for everything. Yeah. There you go. Let me pay and you guys can Venmo me. And you get all those points, and at the end, it's going to be cheaper for you.
And by the way, Amex, the friend that got a platinum card, they have their own like Venmo style type of paying app, which is good because a lot of times Venmo, if you're paying with a credit card, they charge you a fee. But Amex now, if you're paying to another person that has an Amex, you can pay that person directly straight from your Amex.
I've seen that.
So the first one was the what to do when you're starting to build your credit. The second one is what you have right now, sort of like in college, as interested into your new job. And then the last one is, what card are you kind of aiming for? What's the card that you want to get?
So personally, I'm gonna do advisory, which you're supposed to travel a lot. I don't know how it's gonna work with COVID. If we start traveling, I think I'm gonna get either the Chase Sapphire Preferred or Reserve, Chase Sapphire Reserve,
Yeah.
or the Amex Platinum.
Okay.
I think they're competitors. The Chase Reserve is like 550, I think 550.
And that's big on cashback, right?
That's huge in cashback and travel.
Okay.
Both of them. They give you points.
Mm-hmm.
And the Platinum is 695. They just increased their price.
Okay.
And they both have a bunch of benefits. I think the first year they give you like 300 travel dollar credits, like 100,000 points, which ends up being like $2,000 on travel.
Yeah.
They give you a bunch of benefits. I think I would make my money back if I use it for traveling, especially if I travel a lot. Because at the end of the day, these companies, you travel, you pay with your own credit card, and then they reimburse you whatever you pay for.
Depends on the company.
Depends on
yeah,
of course, obviously.
That way, but yeah. And usually, even if you're paying with a company credit card, you do put like your own advantage number, or well, that's American Airlines. So you put your own like flying number,
and you get the points, the miles and stuff.
Yeah, the miles.
So yeah, I think for traveling, I would get one of those two. I have to run the numbers as I said before. And I think for cash rewards, I think I'd keep the Bank of America one for dining.
Okay. Yeah,
because 3% dining,
3% is really good.
You don't really get anywhere else.
Run the freaking numbers. Like this same friend, I don't think he watches the videos, but the same friend, he was like, yeah, no, $700, and yeah, like you're gonna pay $695 a year, and then the amount of rewards and benefits you're gonna get, it's close to $800 worth.
Yeah.
Do you really need those $800? Do you really spend like $300 in, I don't know, Uber a year? Maybe you do, maybe you don't, but like it's not as a simple math.
Yeah.
Because that's the way that the market, like there's hours and hours of thought put into the marketing way for they to acquire you, and they spend a lot of time sending you letters. Like it's very easy for them to convince you about something that you don't really need that much. But maybe you do. Like if
right.
It makes sense, you do.
No, yeah, and maybe the card that works for me doesn't work for you.
Exactly.
Maybe I'm gonna travel a lot. Maybe you don't. Maybe you're better off with a normal cash rewards card that charges $95 a year. You know, it all depends on the person.
The one that I'm working towards is the one I've been thinking about it since like I opened my first credit card, because a few members of my family have it. Is the American Airlines credit card.
Okay.
Specifically because it gives you, depending on the offer, anything from 50 to 80,000 miles when you open it at the beginning. You need to spend, I think it's like $6,000 in the first 3 months, which is a lot of money. But you know, you can like try to make, if you know someone that is making a big you can try to work it out to spend that money and get those miles. However, in this book too, they recommend that you never open a credit card affiliated into a retailer.
Yeah.
I think it's a retailer.
Or you know those credit cards that you get in the mail.
Yeah.
Also forget about them.
Yeah. If you want to find the right credit card, I think bankrate.com is a good place for you to search and see what's the best thing for you based on like if you travel and things like that. But yeah, the American Airlines one is one that I'm aiming for. That one is $200 or $300 fee a year.
Yeah.
But if you really like, my dad was traveling today and he has it, and he got a free
upgrade?
A free suitcase.
Oh, awesome.
And the upgrades are cheap.
Oh, of course, the suitcase. It's $50 in American Airlines.
Every time I traveled to visit Barney when he lived in Boston, I couldn't even bring a suitcase. So I had to travel for 4 days with a backpack. It was interesting.
It was interesting. I had to lend them clothes. I don't know if I'm going to put the picture, but I think the main point is definitely get a credit card.
Yeah.
Be smart with it. Do you have any other takeaways?
No. Yeah, credit card is important. Start it at the beginning. If your credit card, in the long run, it's not that much about your credit score. Credit score is really important, but a lot of things they look at is your credit history. How long have you got a credit card for? If you have an 850 credit score, which is crazy, but you've had a credit card for a year, they're gonna be like, yeah, like this doesn't tell us much. So start as soon as you can. Be careful. Be a deadbeat, which is the people that spend money with your credit card every single month and pay it in full. The credit cards company, do not make any money out of you. Because you don't pay them any interest. That's what you're aiming for. Pay it in full. Being mindful that like credit cards are set up for you to spend money and forget about everything you spend the money. So be mindful of that, and you should be good.
Comment what credit cards you have, what credit cards you guys think we should get, and maybe
other personal finance topics that you want us to talk about. Comment
on the last episode if you want us to do an episode shirtless, and maybe we'll do an American Express Platinum card unboxing. Our first unboxing.
That's right. Yeah, that'd be cool. They send it to you like within the week, so yeah,
That
definitely.
would be pretty. If I get it, I'll definitely be making an unboxing for you guys. But like the video, subscribe. Any last remarks?
3.5.
3.5. I think I'll give it a 3.8. I liked it.
3.8. Okay, cool.
Cheers. Peace.
See you guys. Thank you.